Hello, number 3 in the occasional series, well, hopefully daily series of my stuff, my poems by request. And today I'm going to do one that was requested by Tony Szymanski, who's a great musician and songwriter. And Tony asked for one that I'd forgotten about. It was written several years ago now, and it was about a real event. Many years ago, when I was starting out as an actor, over 20 years ago, I was on my first professional tour, and the rehearsals were in Ayrshire, deep in the countryside. And at the time, I was utterly skint. I had £70, which I think somebody had actually lent me. I didn't even have it myself. And I needed to get through the first week without wages to be able to live, to be able to eat, etc. And so I had the £70 in my pocket, and I took the pre-booked train, which I'd got on a credit card. And somewhere on the train between Darlington and Glasgow, the guy who sat next to me got up and left, and I didn't think anything of it. And then I realised that I'd foolishly put the £70 in my trouser pocket, and it was gone. And he'd pickpocketed me, and I had absolutely nothing. And so I reported it as an incident, knowing that it was my own fault. I got off at Glasgow, and then I had to get the connecting train to Ayr, and it was very quiet. It was a Sunday night. It was rainy, drizzly autumn, and I was sat there, and I must have looked utterly miserable, and I didn't know what to do. I knew I was going to get there, but I thought I'm going to have to borrow money to eat. My money's all gone. Anyway, the conductor came up to me and sort of took pity on me, and I told her what had happened. She asked me, and I told her, and she went away, and she came back, and she had money in her hand, and insisted on giving it to me. And I tried to resist. At that point, I felt like I'd been one of those con men with a sob story, and I was saying, no, you can't do that. And she insisted, and she was getting on, and she said, I retire tomorrow. I'm going to get my money, and this is yours. And she took my hand and put the money in my hand and closed my fingers around it. And then she got off the next stop, which wasn't Ayr, it was Irvine, before the end of the journey. She got off and got to my train window and smiled and waved at me and went away. And she was like a saviour, really. So anyway, very long story to introduce the poem, which just tells the story anyway. So this is for Tony, and it's called St. Agnes of the Rails. I once met a lady sent aboard the Glasgow to Ayr train. On a demonic autumn night, my darkling darling shone a light. Swishing a sparkly ScotRail dress, she spotted a boy in distress. Pirouetted to my side, and upon her landing glide, settled down right next to me, put a hand upon my knee. Looked me in the eyes and just knew. Now then, what can we do for you? And the pocket that a bastard had emptied, she filled up with generosity. And as we pulled into Ayr, she shook her whitened hair, and fairy dust sprinkled its way through my skin, where it lives to this day. It wakes me up and fills my sails, blessed by St. Agnes of the Rails.